when women first come to see me for weight loss and I ask them why do you want to lose weight, very often I hear this answer that my excess weight stops me from doing what I want, stops me from living, for example, being social, going out, being myself, being bubbly, joking, saying the really thing, traveling, being intimate with my partner, with my husband, wearing the clothes that I want, buying the clothes that I want. Also, it impacts my career. For example, I work in social media and I want to be presentable because I don't wear the clothes that I like. I'm just kind of hiding behind the grey baggy clothes. I don't look presentable and therefore I can't be myself as well. So basically my weight puts my life on hold or it stops me from living my ultimate, my best life. And that sounds quite reasonable, right? But actually that's not true. Because when I had an eating disorder, it didn't just come into my life. It happened when I had a lot of stress at work and I started eating my options. It was to procrastinate, to comfort myself, and I felt like I started to, like my life was not in my hands. I felt like I was not in control. I was just living like in that rat race every day, day by day, doing something like on autopilot. It felt like my life didn't belong to me, and to numb that feeling that my life doesn't belong to me, to numb that pain of not being my real self, not pursuing what I want, not living the real life that I want, I started eating. And as a result, because I started overeating, I started gaining weight, obviously. And when I started gaining weight, it started as well stopping me even more from doing what I want. Because I didn't want to go out as much, I became less social, I became less confident, and in general, it kind of created that vicious cycle. So the more stressed I am at work, the more I eat, the more weight I gain, the more weight I gain, the more I want to stay home, and just work became the center of my life. This was my situation, but I work with lots of moms who have children at different age. Their situation actually looks very, very similar, just sometimes they also work, but their whole attention, their whole life now revolves around children, and they lose themselves. And what happens actually, it's not that the weight stops you from living, but you stop living your life. You start losing yourself, and sometimes it can be because of stressful job, like it was in my case. Sometimes it can be because of abusive relationships, or sometimes with friendships when you're losing yourself. Sometimes because of good watched children that you love so much. However, they take all your time, all your attention, and now you don't even know who you are. But it's all about your children. And it's really interesting when I ask, for example, moms, what do your children like? What do they like to do? What their favorite color, their flavor, everything. And they can say it right away without even thinking. When I ask them, but what do you like? What do you want? What makes you happy? What are your hobbies? In that moment, they just look at me like this, completely lost, like, me? Me? Are you talking about me? Where's me in my life? Anyway, it's a whole new topic, not going to go too deep into that one. But what I wanted to point out here is that we start gaining weight when we betray ourselves, when we are deaf to our wants, when we are deaf to our needs, and we're just kind of numbing that. Because when we start eating more than we physically need, for example, when you feel full already, you ate a proper meal, but after that you definitely need to eat something sweet or have some snacks, or you can't stop eating. It means that it's not the physical hunger anymore, right? You're still hungry for something. And it's not physical hunger, it's a psychological hunger. It means there's emptiness inside. Something that wants to be fulfilled, something that wants to be satisfied, something that wants to be content. And it stays empty. And food is just a band-aid that you put on top for a while and helps you to feel good in the moment, just for that few moments, sometimes for a few seconds. But even when you eat, you can already start feeling guilty, so you start feeling bad right away, knowing that you're doing wrong things. So basically being in abusive relationships with food. Again, it's a whole new conversation, it's a whole new topic. And if you want me to develop any of these slides, please let me know in the comments below. We'll share with you how it works, like, because we have relationships with absolutely everything around us. It can be with people, it can be with weather, it can be with the city that we live in. Anyway, let's go back to the main topic, otherwise I'll just lose my initial thoughts and I'll keep talking about absolutely everything at the same time. We can talk about this forever. So, when people say that my weight stops me from doing things, it's actually not your weight stops you from doing things. It's you who started stopping yourself from doing things, and when you are running out of excuses mentally, this is not the right time to do this is not the right financial situation, I'm not feeling well, I'll wait until that's when you're running out of mental excuses for not doing what you actually want. Your body takes that pressure and it becomes a punching pillow. Your punching pillow is like, oh, now it's because of my weight, now this is the reason, now this is the excuse. However, let's look at some people who can be, let's say, plus size, plus few sizes, and it doesn't stop them from living their absolutely phenomenal, ultimate, fascinating life. Let's look at the plus size models that are gorgeous, that are, I say that first of all, my face is getting right in a second, I'm getting so hot. I'm actually on my flight from Melbourne to Shanghai. And in Shanghai, in summer, in Melbourne, it's winter, it was really cold when I was leaving. Anyway, eating pink. What's her name? Ashley Graham, I think, that plus size model, absolutely gorgeous woman. And there's so many gorgeous, popular, successful people, actors, singers, artists, entrepreneurs who are overweight, and their weight doesn't stop them from living their best life. And some women say that because I'm overweight, I don't feel confident dating, I feel like no one is gonna love me. However, we can see that there's so many gorgeous, beautiful women who are plus size, there's so many children, and it doesn't stop them. As well as men, just because I have the majority of my clients are women, that's why I'm saying women, but I also have male clients. It's relevant to everyone. And in general, every condition that we have, to someone it's an excuse not to do things, and to someone it's just the challenge to overcome, to cope with. And I can go on and on and on with so many examples. For example, disabled people who became incredibly successful in sports, in Paralympics, in business, in personal life. So to some, it's something that is blocked, that you can't pass that, and it stops you from living. Well, to some, it's just a challenge that they will overcome and will become much stronger and much more free in their mind. And I don't want to say that being overweight is nothing, that it doesn't impact us, or that it doesn't make things more complicated. No, it actually does. But when we look to the root of the problem, when we look to the cause where it all started, we will always see the same pattern. And I've seen it each and every time. Out of hundreds, actually thousands of hours around practice now, that this is the main issue. And when we fix that core, when we return back to ourselves, when we start being in control of our own life, and I'm not talking about counting calories or controlling that, that's totally. When we start returning ourselves back in the center of our life, listening to our needs and wants, doing what we want in our life with our life, overcoming our fears, when we start putting ourselves first instead of trying to please everyone else and be a good wife, a good mom, a good boss, worker, or a good friend, or just being good and nice to everyone else, and basically pleasing everyone else at your own expense, at your own cost, then your life starts changing. Because excess weight, it's a symptom. It's something that we see on the surface, that it's just a sign that there's information inside. It's like a pimple that we can see on the surface at the top, which means that there's information inside. It's like a weed that grows inside until really deep root, and what we see on the surface is just a symptom. This is the your excess weight. What ways it started, and what makes it coming back again and again and again? That's the main issue. And now, in the most interesting moment, they asked me to speak wider because I was sleep. Anyway, guys, I also want to speak up because it's only for 2 hours. Even though actually it's data. Anyway, the most important thing that I wanted to share with you, it's not too late that stops you from living your best life. It is if you stop yourself from living your best life and using it as a reasonable excuse for that. Now I'll let the person next to me to sleep. Maybe I'll try to get some sleep as well. I think we still have 6 hours to get to Shanghai. This was my first YouTube video, guys. If you found it interesting, please write your comments, questions, or let me know what you think. And I'll see you in the next video.